All right, so then let's head to Fantasy Focus University, guys. We'll close this podcast out by prognosticating a little bit on the end of season report cards for these sophomore and
I
rookie
give I
quarterbacks.
give Field a solid C. I give him a solid C.
I think that's fair.
Is that the answer?
You know what?
Thank
You
you.
passed with a
Thank
C.
you.
C gets you a passing grade, Mike.
Wow,
The
I'll
guy-
take that.
Yeah. The guy that does your dentist probably got a C, but you know what? He's still a dentist, so congratulations.
Wow, is that true? He's going to pass just to get through dental school?
Yeah. I mean, someone's doctor finished last in their class, and they're still a doctor. You know what I mean?
It's a good point.
So-
Yeah, it's a good
All
point.
right, so let's talk about this. We mentioned Anthony Richardson. When you look at the end of the season, we're going through and prognosticating. I think Anthony Richardson, his report card will show a solid A at the end of the year, showcasing us all the stuff that we thought we were going to see his rookie season and making that year two leap, as Mike Clay had said. I'm curious how you guys feel on Anthony Richardson. Mike, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, look, I'm basing this on expectations, right, and grade level as well. Some of these guys are first year, some are in their second year, right? So there's different expectations. So based on the hype and the ADP, I'm going to go B on this. I don't know if he's going to quite pan out with live up to the insane expectations we've seen with ADP, but he's still going to break out. So I'll say B.
Okay, and Field?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit now. It's an A for me, obviously. I can't, you can't back down, right? Like, it's going to be week 17. Anthony Richardson is going to have one 10-point game to his name for the entire season. He's going to be quarterback 2 of my rankings for the week, and I'm just not going to let this one die.
Never. I'm with you on that one. All right. How about CJ Stroud, another guy we think is going to do really well this season? I have him as an A- right behind Anthony Richardson. Field, I'll let you go first on this one.
I'm going to go with A as well, because I think this player just came off of the greatest rookie season for a quarterback in NFL history. It's scary to think how much better he will be this year just because of natural improvement, right? He's had a full off season. He understands what goes into being an NFL quarterback that much more. Same offensive coordinator, Bobby Slowick, did not get a head coaching job or did not take a head coaching job. Perhaps is the more accurate way of describing that. The weapons are excellent. I'm going A for CJ Stroud.
Mike Clay.
Yep, I'm going A as well. I mean, they're just casually going to cut Robert Woods at some point because he's like their 8th wide receiver now. I mean, like John Mechie's their 5th receiver. He might be the 2 on Pittsburgh. I mean, they're just absolutely stacked. He's set up for a huge passing season. Could throw. If you told me he's going to throw 38 touchdowns, that would not shock me. I mean, the ceiling passing wise, it's massive for Stroud this season. I go A. I'm going A.
All right. One more sophomore quarterback, and that is Bryce Young. Obviously struggled in his first year. They added Deontay Johnson, so love to be able to see that, and DJ Chark as well to that backfield, to that wide receiving core. I've got Bryce Young, though, from a fantasy perspective, as a D+. I don't see him being a top 20 kind of guy. For me, it's not someone that I'm looking at as far as a fantasy quarterback to be able to lead my squad unless I am really desperate for a QB2 in a super flex league. So I've got him as a D+, and that's pretty low, I realize. Field, where do you add on him?
I'm going to go C for Bryce Young. And God, I hate to say this. I'm not quite as harsh of a grader as Daniel is, but I'm nervous about this team this year. I really am. They did make some steps forward. I feel like, though, what Carolina was able to do this year is credibly evaluate Bryce Young. After this year, they will know, is Bryce Young good enough that we should build this thing around him further? Or is this going to be a Justin Fields Chicago Bears situation where we're picking high enough that we should just reset the clock with a new player? So I'm going C. The difference maker at wide receiver, I guess, is Deontay Johnson. I don't think it's going to be there right away for Xavier Legette. So the surroundings are better for sure. It can't get any worse, but I'll go C. What do you think, Mike?
Yep, I'm with you. I see as well. I think based on expectations, he's going to exceed them, and I think it's going to be better. Remember, Dave Canales there as well, who got Baker Mayfield to his best season in Tampa last year, now running this offense. And the coach was fired during the season last year. He had terrible supporting cast in Carolina. I think days are going to be better for Bryce Young. Keep in mind, his efficiency throwing to Adam Thielen last year was good. It was solid, especially for a rookie. Throwing to everyone else, it was honestly unbelievably poor. Unbelievable. And when you see the list who he was throwing to, it makes sense, actually. So having maybe one of the best route runners in the league in Deontay Johnson there, look at Jonathan Brooks out of the backfield, I think it's going to be a better season for Young.
What a show that was last year, huh?
It wasn't great.
It was really bad. By the way, let me add this really quick from a fantasy perspective. He was like a 0 running last year. That's the big concern for fantasy and why I won't go higher. I just think his chances of getting the QB1 conversation or even the top 15 is really slim because he doesn't run. Maybe that'll change in the future, but that's a big concern there. So from a fantasy perspective, it's hard to be excited.
Well, they couldn't call any running plays for him last year because he was too winded from trying to avoid sacks all season because defenders were just bearing down on him every single snap.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't great. It wasn't great. Running backs didn't really crush it for him either last year. They definitely got more help this year, so hopefully that helps Bryce Young. I realize D+ is a tough grade. Hopefully it's not quite that bad. All right, number 1 overall pick in this year's draft, Mike Clay, Caleb Williams to the Chicago Bears. We talked about the entire cast that is surrounding him. I've got him as a B- at the end of the season. Where are you at?
I'm going to go A. As far as rookie quarterbacks go, including one's picked first overall. Like I said earlier, outstanding circumstances. He has the players around him. Just get them the football. He can add some value with his legs as well. I expect him to have a really good rookie season. And that might be 23 passing touchdowns. That's a huge number, honestly. 23 passing touchdowns for a rookie quarterback is a big number. I think he'll be in that range, and we're going to come away saying this is the future of the Bears organization. He's in a good spot.
Okay, so by that metric, I would give it an A. I'm going B+ though for this reason, is that he could have a really, really good rookie season, but still not crack top 12 fantasy quarterback status, right? Which is, to me, like that will be what I would reserve an A grade for a rookie quarterback.
Yep. And that's why we moved to Jaden Daniels, and I've got Jaden Daniels right on that cusp of a B+, A-, given the fact that all the things that we talked about that he does. Field, you talk about his rushing ability in that offense, the idea that he can be able to get to that point for you as a QB1 with his legs. So I've got him as an A-, higher, obviously, than Caleb Williams. Where are you at on Jaden Daniels?
Yeah, that's a perfect number, A-, because here's what I would say. If I was going to go A or even A+, I'd have him slightly higher in my rankings than I do. I've got him on the periphery of being a top 10 or 12 quarterback, but there's just so much upside. I just talked about it a few moments ago that even if Jaden Daniels kind of struggles through his rookie season as like a pure pocket passer, maybe he's a little bit careless with the football, that may not matter because if he rushes for 850 yards this year and 5 touchdowns, he's going to be a top 12-ish quarterback in fantasy.
Yeah.
All right. I agree. I'd go A there too. Right with Caleb.
Okay, we got 2 quarterbacks left then. We're looking at CJ McCarthy, new quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. Here's the hard part for me. I gave McCarthy, and we're talking about fantasy, I gave McCarthy a D+ because I just don't know how many games he's going to play. I don't know if I'm assuming he's going to start. I don't know what he's going to look like. I like his offense, but there is at least a question mark that maybe JJ McCarthy is not going to be the guy to start from the jump for this Vikings offense. So from a fantasy perspective, I don't really know what to take away from him as my QB of my fantasy team. So I've got him as a D.
Could you go, I think you could go incomplete and I would let it happen.
Okay, which is why why the D exists, because of the not sure how many games he's going to play or start.
I was going to go C-. Here's the reason why. As somebody who received a fair number of C's back in the day, I got to be. They felt better than anything with a D. It feels like when you throw a D in there, even though that's not a failing grade, it feels kind of close to it. And I don't think it's fair for me to say that JJ or the other one that we may discuss in about 30 seconds deserves a D because it's probably not their fault. I'll go C- for JJ McCarthy because if he wins a starting job, it's a pretty darn good situation for rookie quarterback.
It is. It is.
Yeah, I feel like you can almost throw these 2 guys together. McCarthy and Make. It's the same situation. We had to have Jacoby Brissett and Sam Darnold starting early in the season, so it just makes it tricky to evaluate. So I think you're going to come out of this as them not being good fantasy quarterbacks this season. So I'd say for McCarthy probably like a D+ if we have to put a letter on it. I like Kevin O'Connell. I like the supporting cast, but he just doesn't have a path to starting early in the season. And is he going to be in the top 15 conversation? Most weeks, probably not. And honestly, the same thing goes for me. And his situation's even worse. So I'd probably just give him a D. But I'm with you. It's tough because they're probably not going to start and they're off the draft radar.
Yep. That's where I'm at. Field, you mentioned it really well. Like if you said I could give both of these guys an incomplete grade, that might be better than giving them Ds, because D makes it sound like they are earning a D. when the
Right.
truth is they might just not have enough time on the field, or we've seen enough from them in their rookie season to really feel like, yeah, I can give them a full grade based on what they've done. So
Yeah, I'm with you. That's a smart way of putting it.
Stuff.
Oh, that was my idea. Oh, okay. Got it.
hey, look at that. Wow. Of course.
Oh, now who's hedging with incomplete
That's it.
instead of actually picking a lane? Okay, yeah, I see how.
I don't recall what you're talking about. Yeah, I have no idea what you were speaking of.